You may know him as the host on MLB Network or NHL Network. You may know him as a frequent guest on the Dan Le Batard Show. You may know him as a guest on other shows, or you may now know him as an author. Adnan Virk's book is released today. It is called Cinephile, Interviews, Essays, and Tales from the Red Carpet. Welcome, Adnan Virk.
David, I couldn't be happier to be here. Thank you so much to you and Coca. Great to be reunited. Of course, the last time we were together was the Oscars, which I think was a big hit. I mean, not only a year ago with the Dan Le Batard Show on the Meadowlark family, but also on your podcast, recapping the Academy. And I know you've said this very often to me. You frown upon having a repeat guest. You are very stringent upon this. So I realize I'm in hallowed territory, being back on Nothing Personal. Can't thank you enough here to promote the book and to talk whatever the hell you want to talk about.
Well, we're going to talk a lot of baseball, but I want to give you a chance right out of the gate because today's the day. So you're busy doing media stuff. This book is available everywhere. You put your thoughts together. I find your movie taste to be questionable. I actually just lost $1 bet, Mortimer to Coca, because I assumed you'd have something Scorsese, like a T-shirt or a face, like something with the book, something in the background. And what do we got? We got messed up hair. We got bags under the eyes. What's going on? Tell me about the book.
So flew back from California, family vacation. My wife is so paranoid. I know your kids are older than mine now, David, but you remember when your son was 17 and maybe not always using the internet appropriately. So my wife keeps the Wi-Fi turned off from the hours of 10 p.m. until, let's say, 10 a.m. And this is the reasoning. And the reasoning is she doesn't want to be on the internet all the time. They're flying back later today. I flew back last night. And so I'm frantically texting her because it's 5 a.m. right now in San Jose. I'm like, can you turn the Wi-Fi on? This is beyond embarrassing. I'm on Nothing Personal with David Samson. I look like crap. I do normally, as you said, with the bags in the eyes and messy hair. But at the same time, I could have the lights up, a better audio setup. So because of my teenage son, we can't get appropriate Wi-Fi. So I can't do this off the laptop. Therefore, I'm doing it off my phone. Apologies for that. The book itself.
No, you look great. You sound great. And I don't know if you know this, but taking away the Wi-Fi, that will solve all the issues with your 17-year-old. He will not find a workaround under any scenario. You really got that one nailed, man.
Yeah, I'm going to let her. You know, I talked to some other parents out there. David's been through it. He said, honestly, that is the way to go. If everyone just did this, no Wi-Fi, we would have zero issues when it comes to teenage angst. The thank you again for the support of the book, Cinephile, Interviews, Essays, Tales from the Red Carpet. As you said, you can go to mangopublishinggroup.com where I get a bigger cut. Mango, of course, is a publishing company in Miami. They also published our friend Greg Cody's books, and I think he's got another one coming out. But yeah, you can go to Amazon.com. You can go to Barnes & Noble, wherever books are sold, as they say. And I know you and I love movies, but also love the written word. It was just always a passion project. I'm sure one day there's going to be a Nothing Personal book. You put together all your great anecdotes and stories from your life, and I really hope people enjoy it, man. It's a labor of love, as they say, but no laboring. I mean, it was so much fun. Somebody asked me, they said, is it tough to write a book? I said, what are you saying? All I got to do is write about movies. How much more easier could that be? It's as if you took your 100 list of favorite movies and just wrote a book about it. Samson's top 100. You'd have that finished by next week. It would be a piece of cake. So I hope people enjoy the book.
The passion that you're bringing to your book, again, Cinephile, Interviews, Essays, and Tales from the Red Carpet. Go get it at mangopublishing.com or wherever you get your books. But we both also share a passion for baseball. Yeah. And as we're heading now into September, which is the second best month in the calendar as it comes to baseball for me. I used to be February, love spring training, but really October's number one in a runaway. Like that's the number one month. But this September, this season has been fascinating. As we're heading into September, you're looking obviously at the division races. Where is your head? Like, what should we be watching for? And are you just going to say focus Dodgers, Padres, or should we really focus Blue Jays, Red Sox?
Well, I'd love to give you Blue Jays, Red Sox and be a contrarian, but I just got back from Southern California, as I said, on vacation, and I planned the trip. My wife's from NorCal, from San Jose, so we were there for a few days. And then, months in advance, I checked the schedule. And I said, oh, my God, we got to get to Dodgers Padres. And thankfully, she had a wedding to go to on the weekend. So I said, perfect. So we were in San Jose for the first few days, seeing her sister, enjoying Santa Cruz. It was great. Had a really nice time. Made the way down there on the 5, the 101 to get down to L.A. And I mean, God, it's just beautiful country down there, as you know. And Friday night, thanks to Yonder Alonso, MLB Network teammate and brother-in-law of Manny Machado, got the hookup for 4 tickets to Padres Dodgers. And David, that atmosphere is electric. I think of my favorite ballparks. I'm going PNC. Obviously, I love Pittsburgh, the Clemente Bridge,
Me
and all the
too.
history, right? San Francisco is unbelievable, again, because the water. Camden Yards, the mix of the old and the new. But I think that Padres, I mean, Petco to me is a great ballpark. Maybe it's because I love San Diego so much, America's finest city. I'm telling my kids, I go, where else can you find a place? It was a high of 78 and a low of 65, like a 13-degree swing. It's absolutely perfect for anything you want to do in life. This is the place to be. I took them to Coronado briefly just to check out the water, but we parked at 4:20, and David, the game is 6:40 first pitch, and there's just a sea of Dodgers fans. Everywhere you look, I go, oh my, how many Valenzuela jerseys can I count here? I go, this is going to be unbelievable. This is a Dodgers takeover. And instead, we walk up and down the Gaslamp District, go to the game early, check out the Padres Hall of Fame. Fellow MLB Network teammate Jake Peavy is honored in there. Electric atmosphere from first pitch, the chance to beat LA reverberating throughout the stadium. You know, as I know, that game was a pitcher's duel. Yu Darvish went 6 strong, 1 hit, 1 home run. He gives up 1 walk. Snell went 7 strong, only gave up 2 runs. Machado had a base hit, which tied the game. And how about this? In the 9th inning, Shohei Ohtani off of Robert Suarez, after Mason Miller didn't look all that great in the 8th, but got a double play to get out of it. People criticized Luis Suarez for not being great defensively. He made a terrific play at first, going right to second base, and Mason Miller hustling over to get the double play. But in the 9th, Ohtani off Suarez, fly ball right to the warning track. Now, wouldn't say it's a home run robbery. The center fielder stood exactly where he needed to be, but the guy looking next to me just does one of these, right, with the finger and the forefinger, like, oh, my God, that much. Betts hit. Freeman base hit. First and third, oh, my God. Tying run is 90 feet away. You can't get any better than this. Suarez strikes him out, and the Padres win.
I love the recap. However, what are we looking for in this race? What do you see because there's some people out there in the know, so they say, that say the Padres actually could win this division. Is that where you come out here?
So my greatest fear is, David, that their starting pitching isn't strong enough. Particularly Darvish and Cease haven't been as great. I love Nick Pivetta, fellow Canadian. He's been great. I love Michael King. Unfortunately, he's been hurt. But I got to tell you, one start does not change a mind. But Darvish looked fabulous. If he can pitch like that, I feel a lot better about San Diego's chances. I love their bullpen. As you know, with Adam and Suarez both being all-stars, and you add Mason Miller, but at home the other day was great on Saturday. I do think they can win this division. And I'm even surprised by myself as saying that. I would have thought they can push the Dodgers. Ultimately, LA has more talent, especially that starting staff being back and healthy. Do I have LA winning the division? Yes. Can I see San Diego winning it? I do. Like, I think that they're willing to go toe for toe and match them. But ultimately, I see the Dodgers win the West by a couple of games. But I see the Padres making the playoffs for the 4th time in 6 years, which would be the greatest run of sustained success they've had in Padres history.
I would point out to everybody that the way Major League Baseball playoffs work is the top 2 records in each league, because for now we still have an American League and National League, they get a bye. And what that means is you don't have to play the wild card round, which you may recall is 3 games all at the stadium of the team with the better record. There's 3 wild cards, which means the division winner with the worst record of all the division winners has to be a first-round participant. There's a lot at stake here, you'd think, except when you look at where the Brewers are and where the Phillies are. It appears that either the Dodgers or the Padres, no matter whether they win the division or not, are going to be playing in the wild card round. So, given that, do you see the Padres or the Dodgers as more likely first-round upset candidates? Because think about this, man. If the Dodgers, trying to repeat as champions with their payroll, if they lose in the first round, despondency, calling for Dave Roberts' job. Conversely, if the Padres lose in the first round, A.J. Preller goes for it again, all in, and 48 hours later, the season's over. There's a story that could be written that's not good.
Yeah, I hope neither happens. But to your point, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd pick the Padres scenario being more likely as them losing. I mean, that series they had against the Dodgers last weekend, again, they got swept on the road against Los Angeles. I think the way it shakes down, it'll be Brewers and Dodgers as the top 2 seeds. So to your point, they'll skip the wild card series and they'll wait till the division series. But if it was Padres and
You mean the Brewers and Phillies, or you're saying the Dodgers are going to catch the Phillies?
I think the Dodgers will catch the Phillies. I think they'll be the 2 seed.
That's a hot take.
Because I do think with Zach Wheeler being out for the rest of the season, that concerns me deeply. So I do think Philly will fall a little bit. I think the Dodgers catch him, and therefore you'll go Brewers, Dodgers, Phillies. Therefore, I guess I'd say Padres feel. No, I don't think the Padres will be a 6. Obviously, they'll be a 4. So eventually, I think the Padres will get there. But could they lose in the Walker Series? More likely than LA.
Do you think the Mets can catch the Phillies?
I don't. It's an eternally frustrating team. I mean, I'll watch them. And it's like, I know we want to focus mainly on their starting pitching, and that's fair. Like they should have guys that go deep into games. I mean, it's rare to have a pitcher aside from David Peterson who goes into the 6th. I know Manai's been hurt. I'm not expecting to come out there and be Shane Bieber the way as electric as he was for the Blue Jays. But their starting pitching doesn't go deep enough in the games. They place too much of a burden on their bullpen. And their offense, despite all that star power, is far too inconsistent. I think they're better than the Reds. I think they're a playoff team, but I don't have the Mets catching the Phillies.
God, the depth in the National League. We're just talking teams. And that's really the best part for me in October. And it's not that I'm a negative Nelly. It's that the teams, and I was a part of this for so many years, you work your ass off and you get to the October and then it's gone so fast.
Yeah.
Think about in the National League, you've got the Brewers, the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Padres, and the Mets.
Yeah.
Definitionally, they're not all going to make it to the NLCS. As a matter of fact, only 2 of them are. Forget like World Series winning the pennant and winning it.
Yeah.
It's just so disappointing when you do it. Speaking of disappointment, we talked earlier in the last hour about Cal Raleigh and what he did. And I tried to give a perspective saying we've never seen it. So It's hard to give perspective doing what Mickey Mantle did, but doing it as a catcher, never been done. From both sides of the plate equally, never been done. Talking about where we are with him and the Mariners. You do this every day on air. How do I put Cal Raleigh and this season in a way that people understand that they're watching history?
Yeah, it's remarkable, and he's such a good guy, David. Like he's really somebody that you can root for. And his coming out party, I think, on a national level, was at the Home Run Derby. I think prior to that, people go, "Oh, he's that guy who hits 230, and in the past, it's 35 home runs." And here he's really good defensively, but he's out in Seattle. Seattle Mariners are never in the playoffs. They're perpetual failure. Like forget it. And then you watch the Home Run Derby. You go, this guy's awesome. Like he's hanging out with his brother, and his dad's pitching to him, and big dumper and a cool nickname, and looks like the kind of guy with a hard hat and construction worker, just goes to work and eminently likable. And you're right, what he's done is nothing short of remarkable. I kept saying he might slow down a little bit. Catcher, second half. No, he's been better historically in his career in the second half. Batting average has gone down. Nobody cares about batting average anyway, so who cares? I mean, there was one point he was hitting 276. I couldn't believe it. I said, imagine a guy who normally say 236 hitters hitting 40 points higher. So a 300 hitter is now hitting 340. By the way, you know as well as I do, there's 8 guys in baseball hitting above 300. 8. That's insane. So forget about a batting average. All I care about is on-base percentage and slugging and OPS and all the rest of it. So by Raleigh's numbers, even with the batting average having slowed down, 50 home runs, and it's signed September 1st. As you said, he obliterates Sal Perez's record of 40 home runs, most by catcher. And Sal had a bunch of those DHing as well, which probably DHs occasionally, but he's still a catcher. He's a Platinum Glove Award winner. This isn't a guy who's just good behind the plate. No, he's outstanding behind the plate. He can block the ball. He calls the game. He has a great arm. Imagine Benito Santiago's behind the plate, and all of a sudden Johnny Bench is up. That's what it feels like watching Cal Raleigh. That's how good this guy has been, both defensively and offensively. My fear is, David, they make those moves, and I go, good for Jerry DiPoto. He needs some offense. They weren't spending money in the offseason. We all know that. He goes out and gets Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor. I love Naylor, pride of Mississauga, Ontario. But Suarez wasn't that guy yet, right? He'd been struggling. And I'm like, I can't believe this is such a good story. And yet they're a game and a half back of the Astros. Like, they might not make the playoffs. Like, we've got to get Cal Raleigh in the playoffs. We've got to see a sustained run from the Seattle team. They haven't won the division since 2001. To have Raleigh in the playoffs, potentially Yankees, Mariners in the playoffs, Judge and Raleigh, the 2 MVP candidates, it'd be awesome to see.
Listen, they've got a 4-game lead over Kansas City for that last wild card. I mean, they're closer to the Yankees, only a half game behind. I think Seattle will make the playoffs. I think we'll get a chance. But again, the American League's another example. There's going to be teams that obviously go home early in the first weekend, and you just don't hear from them again. But the pressure on Raleigh, I've been around an MVP. We had Stanton as our MVP in 2017, and it comes up. So it's part of a conversation where you pretend, oh, it doesn't mean anything and it's not a big deal. And he ended up with 59 homers and couldn't get to 60, and he had 3 games to do it. You get the feeling I get the feeling that it's going to be that sort of thing with Raleigh as he's trying to catch Judge, first get to 60 and then catch Judge at 62, because he's chasing Judge, but he's also chasing him as MVP. He's still not the favorite to an MVP, which blows my mind.
Well, that's a fascinating conversation because Judge has been awfully quiet since his return from the injury. We all know he's clearly not 100%. He can't even play the field, right? He's DHing. So you're like, okay, Judge has become very mortal by his standards. He still gets his walks, but he's not hitting anything for slugging. He is at 40 home runs. But you and I know him and Raleigh were neck and neck in the home run chase, and now obviously Raleigh's obliterated him, leading by 10. If you go by OPS, Judge has him beat, and that's obviously a popular number to use, on base plus slugging. He gets on base, and when he's on, before he gets on base, he does damage with it. But the Yankees have fallen, as you said, and this is where I do think narrative is interesting. If Seattle wins the division, their first division title since 2001, if the Yankees are a wild card team, if Judge continues by his standards to be pedestrian for the final 6 weeks, doesn't play the field, and Raleigh continues to catch what is generally an elite Seattle pitching staff, will people just go by the numbers and go, no, by WAR, Judge still leads it. WAR is the most popular number we use that for MVP. He wins it. Or will you look at other numbers and history? I mean, if he breaks Judge's, if he had 63 home runs, yet his WAR is still less than Judge, if his OPS is still less than Judge, would people still hold that negatively against him? I think it's a fascinating conversation to have. I don't think they would. I think if he gets 63 home runs and the Mariners win the division, I think Raleigh's the MVP.
I think if he gets 60 and they win the division, I'm a big fan of team performance, notwithstanding what happened with Andre Dawson in '87 when he won MVP for a last place team. But I'm all in on team performance and being valuable for a team that's doing something in the playoffs. And so for me, the Yankees, I think both the Yankees and Mariners are in positions to make the playoffs right now, and I don't know that Kansas City can catch either one of them. And certainly it'll be interesting to I mean, Cleveland has just fallen off as well, the Guardians, and certainly they've got their own issues. But the reason I'm watching this MVP race is it's the only one to watch, because in the National League, it's Ohtani. I think that's over, I would assume. I was wondering, is there a scenario where Ohtani does not win an MVP during his career? How would that work?
Well, it's a great point. So to this season specifically, I'm with you. Ohtani wins it. I do think Schwarber's been a great story. He's a ton of power for the Phillies, and it's often been said Bryce Harper's the face of the team, but Kyle Schwarber's like the heartbeat of that Phillies team, and he's a ton of fun to watch, and he's going to make a ton of money this season. I can't believe Dombrowski didn't lock him up prior to this year. He's just costing themselves oodles of money as Schwarber's a free agent. And I do think, by the way, when you're going back and talking to those National League teams, all the pressure they have, how about Philadelphia? If they have a quick exit, Schwarber could be gone. Real Muto could be gone. Sanchez could be gone. Like, those are like some major pieces of that team that could be exiled. And the Phillies team that did not win a World Series. And of course, even the great home run that Harper hit off Suarez against the Padres will all come for naught. Here's your point. Bond's 7-time MVP. Nobody else more than 3. Ohtani's going to win his 4th. 8 more years of the contract. Just give me 4 more MVPs. Are you good enough for MVP every other year? Or more than likely 4 of the next 6, let's say, and the last couple of years Ohtani falls up. I can't see it happening. Like, I don't see a way, David, in which he doesn't get 8 MVPs. Because as you said, if he just hits and pitches and he's going to hit at an elite level, again, his OPS is north of 1,000. He's got the best OPS in the National League. And if he pitches even a modicum of, let's say, 50 innings, that's it. Just literally 10 starts a season at an average of 5 innings. Like, I don't know how he's not the MVP. I mean, year after year, it would be so hard to overcome it. Unless there's voter fatigue, unless there's some other shiny, sexy new toy, a PCA. Pete Armstrong was so great in the first half, falling off considerably. If you had a scenario, but if Ellie De La Cruz had some sort of, remarkable season for the Reds, and the Reds were pushing towards a playoff spot, one of those narrative type stories, I don't see it. I think Ohtani's going to have 8 MVPs when it's all said and done.
I'm a convert here because I did not think, because in my career, I never saw how it would be possible to be a frontline starting pitcher and a middle of the order bat. Now they bat him first, but whatever. Right. To me, he's called a middle of the order bat when you've got 45 home runs. I just didn't think it was possible. And I've been speaking to players about it. We would speak about two-way players back before there were two-way players, because pitchers would always say to position players, you don't realize how hard it is to do what we do. Position players would say to pitchers, hey, man, you get 4 days off in a row all the time. Like, don't talk to me. I got to get ready to go every day. I'm with the trainer every day. And we would say, can you imagine doing both? Nah, that's stupid. No one can do both. So when Ohtani started, I said it's going to stop. And then Tommy John, hey, victory lap. Not that I'm happy he got injured. Yeah. That's it. And then he comes back. second Tommy John, which they won't call it that. I said, well, that's no one comes back. Evaldi comes back, and that's about it from two Tommy Johns. So that's it. But here he is again. I've never seen a player like it. I'm a total convert, and you calling right now for him to have more MVPs than Bonds, that's a great call. That makes him, because there's no steroids, no implications other than the off the court, off the field lawsuits, gambling, whatever you want to call it. But on the field, are we going to say that Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player of all time? I think we may.
Yeah, which is insane because people will ask you that now, Dave. Now, go, hang on a second. Like when Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs, nobody else had more than 30. Like he's lapping the field. Like you have to put that into perspective. And then to each great player, you can always have, the negative comeback. And with Ruth, well, didn't play against black players, no integration. Okay, I know, but he was so much better than everybody else. And he literally was a Hall of Fame worthy pitcher in addition to being this gargantuan player who changed everything. Okay, fine, Babe Ruth. And then you go Hank Aaron, obviously 7.55. Look at the sustained run of excellence. Ted Williams, greatest ever. Oh, Ted Williams in the playoffs. Only have played one World Series, hit 200. Small sample size. I know, but in the one sample size I have, he did not fare well. These things happen. And with Ohtani, like even right now, people will tell me, is he the greatest ever? I go, hang on a second. I've got to see his entire career, the totality of it. Right now, is he a top 10 player? Sure, I would say that in terms of what he does hitting and pitching. But I'm with you. When it's all said and done, crystal ball, 6, 7, 8, 10 years from now, we can say he's the greatest baseball player ever, which for a sport that's been around for 150 years is an incredible statement.
He's got to, here's my thought when he did the deal and he came back from the second Tommy John. I need Ohtani 2 more years of pitching. That's it. Right. And if he can pitch 2 more years and then win the 3 more MVPs after this to tie Bonds.
Yeah.
Because Bonds is in a separate category given what happened with Bonds. That, to me, is when you look at Ohtani. Right now, he projects it, but I must say, I projected Mike Trout. I projected a bunch of players. Hey, these guys have had such unbelievable starts that, hey, Tim Lincecum is going to be the greatest pitcher of all time.
Right.
And you know what? Life just happens. But with Ohtani, each day that passes, to me, he gets closer to us being able to say it, which is why when I'm asked, and we only have 2 minutes left, when you're starting the team.
My one goal for Ohtani, David, if he did this next season, I'd say he's the greatest player of all time. If he won the Cy Young next year. If he won the Cy Young next year while pitching, I go, that's it. It's over. Throw in the towel. He's the best ever.
I'm going to give you that. It did. So that's interesting. You win the MVP as a hitter and the Cy Young as a pitcher. I mean, that'll be it. If you're starting a team, 1 minute left, and I remind people, please go read and buy Cinephile. It's out today. Yes, Cinephile. Interviews, essays, and tales from the red carpet. If you think I love movies, Adnan is my rival. He loves movies as much as I do. As a matter of fact, the fact that we're not talking movies on this just shows you that it's about to be September, because otherwise we would be. Finish this off. You're starting a franchise. You're the GM of a franchise. Are you taking Ohtani or are you taking Paul Skeens?
Wow. I take Ohtani because with Skeens, I do worry about potential injuries with pitchers, as you said. It almost feels like an inevitability. These guys will get Tommy John at some point. Even the healthiest pitcher at some point gets felled. Garrett Cole for so many years was so durable. Eventually it's going to happen. So Skeens will get Tommy John at one point. There's no guarantee he comes back as strong. He probably would. I know how great the surgery is and guys come back. But as you said, you get it once, could be twice. Evaldi's the only guy that's proven that. Whereas Ohtani, he's had the injuries. He still has a great run of success. He keeps himself in incredible shape. I'm still going to get 5 years of elite Ohtani. Whereas with Skeens, like with Steven Strasburg, there's a great unknown when it comes to starting pitchers. I would take Ohtani, and the cautionary tale of Strasburg would be in my mind when thinking of Paul Skeens.
We were just talking about Strasburg before because of the thoracic surgery that Zach Wheeler just had, and that ended Strasburg's career. It's a serious thing that Wheeler has. We're going to let you go. We have a lot that we will keep talking about. I think 3's a charm because I think we're going to want you back around playoff time as we can talk about whether the Blue Jays are doing well, how your book is selling, because I expect it to sell more than Stu's book by far because it's about movies, and it should. Adnan Virk, MLB host. You see him on MLB Network. You see him on NHL Network. You see him now as an author, cinephile, interviews, essays, and tales from the red carpet. Thank you, Adnan. Have a great day.
David, can't thank you enough, buddy. I look forward to the fourth time being the charm. Shout out to Coca. You guys are the best. Nothing personal. Hashtag wait to see. Let's go.